collaboration that you haven't done?
Well, this is actually a beautiful thing. We have wanted for a long time to. We've been very impacted by U2, the band. One of the pinnacle moments for me as a musician was in 2002 after the Twin Towers had fallen. They played your Super Bowl, and if you remember, they played Where the Streets Have No Name, and they had all of those that had passed away in the attacks, firemen, people in the buildings. They had them scrolling behind them, and it gives me chills now. I just wept in front of the television, and I remember thinking, if music can have this kind of impact. Count me in. I want to be a part of that, So we put a message out to his management about featuring on this record that we have coming on March 11th. And we just found out yesterday he's going to be unable to do it. But we sent a video along with it, and he sent the kindest, most thoughtful, meaningful message back to us. And it was actually it kind of makes me emotional. It was a bucket list moment for me as a musician. And he just said, one of the things he said at the end of the message was, "I'm a fan." And it was like, so it kind of knocked me off my feet. So that would be, I'm going to still hold that somewhere in the distant future, but we're feeling, between Dolly and Bono, we're feeling pretty special.
Wow, that was hard.
Yeah, look, I will say this. I would love to be able to speak the Spanish language very, very well, and I would particularly like to be able to sing it, neither of which are talents of mine, but it was special to be able to have somebody who does. And obviously, Miel, who's obviously massive and very successful, to be able to, for him to want to even be able to do it is special. And what you understand with music is, music does cross lines, it crosses languages, it crosses borders, it crosses color of skin, it crosses it all. But sometimes you have to have somebody that is going to be willing to take it there for you. And I think Miel did that very, very well. So yeah, we're grateful that he would want to come and hang with us for a bit.
Thank you. 2 more questions, right here.
Great question, dear. Was actually one of the most frustrating and expensive songs we've ever worked on, and this was before Kirk and Tori. We wrote it in 2017 with actually another brother duo, the Jackson Brothers, not Michael Jackson Brothers, another. And we always thought there was something to it, but we didn't quite get it in time for the Burn the Ships record. And then in 2019, we felt like, well, now's the time. So we picked it up in 2019, and for most of the year, we worked with different producers. We just tried to get it. We started playing an unreleased version live, and it still just was not right at all, and we knew it. Fast forward to 2020, we were actually at the Grammy Awards, speaking at award shows, and our nominations were sandwiched in between Kirk Franklin's. And we were fortunate, he and us, to win both. And he walked off stage, and he'd made this statement in the past, like, "No, put me on the collab list." So 4 days later, I called him, I'm like, "Hey man, if you're serious about this, we've got this song." And I sent it to him. Now, bear in mind, this is preceding pandemic still. I sent it to him, and he flipped, he loved it. And he said, I don't want to just feature on this, I want to write a whole other section for this song. So he took it with his choir, took it with his band, he wrote this bridge that we heard. I was like, this is what the song's been missing. And then the pandemic hit. And we're in quarantine, and I sent a video message with my wife to Tori Kelly and her husband. I said, "We've got this song." And it was just this moment where 3 days later, she recorded in her home studio, she sent it back, we did the music video in a cyber way. And what I took away, what was so beautiful about it was, I'm the kind of guy that when God sort of lays out a path, I'll just run in front of him, and take off. And then I end up in the bushes, and I'm like, "God, what happened?" He's like, "Well, you just ran right past me, slow down." we tried to wedge that song in every way, shape, or form to work. And then it's like literally God was saying, hold your roll, hang on. And then the pandemic hit. It was the last show we played in Toronto, Canada before the pandemic. Luke walked off stage and said, now's the time for that song. And again, it gives me chills because it was one of the things that actually carried us through the pandemic as a band was going, God's not surprised by this. Like he knew in 2017. For us, he started working on this thing. He didn't know about the racial tension that we would feel. He didn't know about the political. He didn't know about the social separation. We didn't. He did. And so it was this great gift that we wanted to give ourselves a little proverbial pat on the back and say, look at us, job well done. But it was just a very special, to this day, a very special moment for us. So that's a long answer. It's been brewing for a minute, so thank you. We had one more.
Last question, guys. Last question.
I heard from the Christian Beat. I wanted to ask, you mentioned this new album off the top. What do you think? What's the sound like? What should listeners anticipate and expect?
Excited.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to wait and see, right? Look, you've always got to keep moving. Burn the Ships that's a special record, but the sounds are going to change, and that's the way it will be with this. And our latest song, Relate, is pushing things a little bit, hopefully, because you got to get into kids' headphones. You got to get into their headphones. If you can get into their headphones, you can get into their hearts, you can get into their souls. And so, the album is called What Are You Waiting For? It's dealing with a lot of the things. I've heard a lot of people say, hey, I'm looking forward to getting back to the new normal. Or I'm looking back to getting back to normal. And in some cases I go, man, I'm a little worried about that actually, because there's so much that we've learned actually through the last year and a half that's been very good. And a lot of those things and a lot of the tensions that existed is what that album is written about, that I think will help, hopefully it'll help people as we go into the future. There will be, hopefully a new normal, not just back to the way it was, but something different, something that we can live with a different perspective, because I think that's what we should do. I don't think we should just go back for the sake of going back.
I'll just say this stylistically, Herb, too. Think 80s. But not hair metal striper 80s, like Tears for Fears sort of thing.
That may have been a mistake. Not too much 80s, but just the right amount. Hey, thank you guys. You guys are working so hard, so we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for staying late.
Go get some Wendy's after
Appreciate it.
this or something.